What's up, fools? Brent with AOB. All right, yesterday was a bit of a, right? Lost 175. That's all right. We're still at $837 bankroll. Totally comfortable with that. I'm really not going to change too much, but I will be lowering my amount a little bit today, but I'm not really going to change anything at this point. I'm comfortable with our bankroll and where it's at. Okay, let's get going here. When I pull my favorites up at the top, you'll notice that it goes away. It'll be going away. So I didn't want to do, I got a DM from someone say they didn't like this view because they couldn't see the wheel enough. Then you guys can see that. So we'll give this a go right here. I'll try to remember to minimize my faves moving forward. Every time I bet, I'll only bet if I need it. We have $2 chips here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to $2, 5 double streets. All right. We have a $250 balance again, and you know how we're playing it. We're going to play 5 double streets deja vu. So we're going to put a unit there on the one that last hit, and then the other double street that's not in the same dozen. Remember, we're only going to leave the double street open that did not hit, that's in the same dozen as the one that did hit. So this is where that really clever name deja vu comes from. Okay, because I had something better, remember, and I couldn't remember what the heck it was. So we went with deja vu, and at some point I'll hear that name and I'll go, that sounds familiar, like I've been there before. Oh, deja vu. Okay, here we go. We're going to put $2 down here, 3, cover this one. It's the exact flip-flop of what we just did. There we go. All right, so yeah, we had an incredibly bad run there at the end with 5 double streets. I mean, we hit 2 zeros back to back, and then a couple of the open dozen double streets back to back. Oof. So, all right, we want all this back and forth as much as we can get right now. All right, there's my saved bet, so I don't have to keep doing it. But I want you guys to be able to see the history up there so you can kind of be following along with exactly what I'm doing. Oh, man. Oh. There we go. All right. Had the wrong one uncovered there. All right, so let's go. While we're spinning, in just a second, I'll bring up some of the comments. I brought up some comments on the screen yesterday that you guys left on the channel, and I'll bring up a few more. I don't know if I'll be able to do that every single day, but I'll give it a go. All right, because you guys have some good comments, and I think they're relevant to what a lot of us are doing. All right, we're covering the 12, right? The 7-10 double street or line bet, and we're leaving this one open. Let's see if I can get through a thing here. From Over Sober, I've been playing with my entire bankroll since I started and got overconfident, and it's gone because I wanted to recover like now. Good thing it was only $100. And the Bato23 says, tell me, is this guy's tactics real, and can you make real stable money? First of all, been there, done that with your bankroll, right? So, all right, we just got whacked. So we're going to go 3x, and I'm going to move this one over here. You wanted it back now, and that's what we talked about. If you get whacked, depending on where you're at, slow it down. You try to chase it. The chances are you're going to lose it. Again, ask me how I know. Ask me how many times I know. Plenty. Oh, come on, dude. What the heck? All right. This dude's going to be like that, huh? Oh. All right, we're going to move this one over there. There we go. Okay. Come on, Pally. What the heck, man? Look at that 7-3, 12-3-7. This guy looks like a stone cold dealer killer. Sorry, let me get the time up there on there so you can kind of see. There we go. All right, what did it just hit? 32. Okay, we're going to double close that down and move this one right here. There we go. So yeah, so regarding that, you chase it, you want it back all right now. That's the biggest thing you can get in trouble with. So I'm glad you shared that. Don't worry about it, man. Chin up. Chin up. We've all been there. We've all done that. At least most of us who have, gambled for a pretty decent amount of time. Okay, we caught up. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go back to base bet right here. We were up, what, $6. I'm going to just go ahead and bring it back. I think that was really bad luck to get whacked those 2 times. So I'm I'd rather have my progressions back and go back to base bet in this case, right? Instead of 3xing right here and being on my second progression. Let's go back to first progression. We're still in profit. There we go. There's a good hit. As far as the last guy's comment, Bato, and there, that said, what did he say here? Tell me, is this guy's tactics real and can you actually make money? I mean, they're not really my tactics. I mean, like I've said all along, I'm not inventing any of these strategies. But if you're talking about as a whole, I think they're the common sense. Anywhere you go and play, I'm pretty sure most streamers and most gamblers would tell you to do the same things, right? So I don't really consider my tactics, but I get what you're saying. All right, that hit 24. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 units here. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to cover the first dozen because we leave the other 2 double streets. We leave those open. So do they really work? I think they work. In my experience, they work. We have got a lot of people who have been playing it who it works, but it's still gambling at the end of the day. So do not forget that. There's nothing guaranteed. Just like you go to your job and they could be downsizing, you know, nothing is guaranteed. If you're looking for safe, go invest your money in a CD or a bond. That's about as safe as it gets. Or leave it in a savings account making 0.000001% interest on it if you're lucky. And I have friends that goes, yeah, but I'm at, because I've deposited this much, I'm in an interest-bearing savings account. I'm like, yeah, wow. How's that working out for you? How much you getting off of that every month? I'm like, come on, man. All right. And I'm not making fun of you. Especially if you're older, absolutely. If you're getting into those later stages, like I'm almost getting there, you're going to want to, of course, be taking your money out of more volatile growth type stocks and investments, right? Because the more growth that you're hoping to get, the more volatile it's going to be. And you don't really want to risk at retirement age, losing your retirement funds. So usually, and sometimes they call them age funds, where they'll look and go, if you're between 20 and 25 years old, here are the type of funds that you should be investing in, and they'll go down. And then if you are barely breathing and can't fog a mirror and you only buy green bananas because you don't know if you're going to be around to eat them, then here's what you invest in. And those things are like really, really tight. All right, we just lost this one. Oh, we just won this one. Never mind. All right. I thought we lost that one for some reason. Okay, here we go. So we're back on track here. We've actually been going for 8 minutes. So we got to add about 4 minutes to the clock you see up there. And I'm actually live streaming in Discord right now. Now for the folks in Discord, you won't see the overlay. So when I'm bringing up the comments from like YouTube, that's an overlay on the video. You guys won't see them. All right. We're going to repeat this bet because it landed on the 13, then it landed on 17. That's the same double street. So we're covering this one. We're leaving the 19 through 24 open. Let's bring up another comment here. Great session. Love the comments. Explain why you're not affiliate and the pressure of getting more viewers and just having fun. Yeah, remember we talked having fun is important. As I've mentioned before, I'm doing a parallel challenge of the 100 to 10K and my own 25K to 125K. I'm at 66,000 and some and 54,000 and some balances respectively. Holy cow. Are you telling me there, I just want to get my bet. Are you telling me that you started out at the $100 challenge when we did and you're at 6,000 some? My friend, you don't be listening to me. I need to be listening to you. That's got to be dice. I would love for you to tell us what you're playing. I mean, to go from 100 to 6,359, that's got to be a lot of dice play or originals, or you had to been going like all in every single time. Yeah. So would love to hear what you guys are playing on that. All right, here we go. One there, one there. I don't know if it's worth it for me not to have my favorites so you guys can see the history down here versus this version of the screen. It's a lot harder for me placing the bets and just going click, click, click over here. And then I don't make mistakes, especially on the speed roulette table. And I'm old. And I'm telling you, this ergo mouse where your hands are like this, it just doesn't, it's harder for me to fine tune it than a normal mouse. All right, here we go. And I could just put I could just click the dozen here twice. It would be the same thing and easier, but visually, I just want you guys to see what I'm doing with the double streets on that end, because this already might confuse people. We're putting 3 units here on the low, which covers these 3 double streets down here. So it's just a quicker way. I could absolutely just put 1 unit on each of these 3 double streets. So going back to Eric, let us know what you're doing, man. I would love to hear the secret sauce there, and how you're managing to do that, because that's pretty amazing, brother. And like I said, my guess is dice or some sort of originals. Clayton says, thanks for the sessions. A little too aggressive betting still for me as my bankroll still building. Can you tell me how to get the live tracker, as I can't seem to find out how to get this? Absolutely. So I'll show you here in just in the next spin. But my live tracker, if you look at my screen and you have my favorites here on the right, okay, there's a 0. We're just going to repeat the bet, and I'm only doubling on this one. We're not tripling up on this one. So right below me, right below the racetrack where I'm at, is the live stat, and it looks like this. Here's an overlay. So you can see I'm sitting right here in front of it, right? As you see, I'm sitting right here in front of this. And if you go down the bottom and you look down here at this little graph, this is enable or disable live stats on raised. Now, if you're on stake, oh man, come on, dude. All right. And we're going to move this guy here. All right. And I'm just going to double my bet here. I'm just going to double my bet. I'm not going to do a triple from that point. So if you were on stake, it's on the other side. It's way over there underneath the your balance. And here's what it looks like. Here's a screenshot of what it looks like on stake. You'll see the balance, and below that, you'll see that little graph icon. Just click that, and that will pop up this live stats graph for you. All right, there we go. So we're going to leave it 1, 2, 3, 1 here, 1 here, and we're going to go back up to $8 units here. Where were we? 24. So we got a little catching up to do, but I'm going to modulate, right? Remember, anything above sea level is good. I'd rather be sea level than take another loss today, but I'm playing like normal. I'm forgetting about yesterday. I have no desire to catch up, or I'm going to do my daily just like I am, because I'm confident we will catch up. And okay, there we go. Wow, he's hitting extremes, isn't he? 1, 2, 3, hit 1 here, hit 1 here. And I'm going to double this time. Instead of going double, we were doing $8 units. We're going to go to $4 units. So I'm just going to kind of keep stepping down. Again, I'd rather leave this first session above water level than be too concerned about getting back up to the $24 session high. You know, that's where we get in trouble. So, so far so good. And we have 4 progressions today. And those 4 progressions actually only need a bankroll of $150. So even though I have 250, I really put the calculations in there. I wanted 4 progressions instead of 3 that we had. And I didn't want to use the whole 250. I was only going to put $150 in here, but I decided I'm going to stay with my 30%-ish unless I drop even more, but I'm going to stick with my 30%-ish and could just continue playing like normal. But like yesterday where we left $75 in our balance, and decided not to risk that remaining 75. That's what I'll do here. My plan, my exit plan is we lose the 4th progression. We're down $150. We're just going to leave the remaining funds that we have there, $100. We're just going to leave that alone and call it quitsy for the day and take that other loss. But I'm pretty comfortable with what we're doing here. We are at 14 minutes. Oh, not this, dude. Come on, man. All right, here we go. 2. We're going to move this over here. We're going to add 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. All right, that's a 3x from that point. Remember, 5 double streets. If we 3x it, we need 2 hits to recover and go up 1 base unit profit, which in this case would be $2. So if we go 3x here, which we are, and we hit that twice, because remember, 5 double streets is a 5-to-1 ratio, right? So 5 units to win 1 unit. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. And actually, you know what? I'm going to be a little protective here. Instead of doing a 3x, I'm going to stay at only 2x because this gets us $4 and we're going to call it quits for this session. I might hit this one, go down to base unit and see if I can't get a couple base units hits and then in the next 2 spins. But if I hit any of those, I lose out on those. We'll just call the session quit, take a break and come back for our next session. There we go. All right, we're likey. We likey. 1, 2, 3. We put one on this and this one here. You guys are pretty familiar, and I'm going to stay doubled up. I'm going to stay doubled up. I could bring it all to base, but I'm going to stay doubled up for one more, and then I'll do one more spin at base bet size, which is a $2 unit, and we'll go from there. So appreciate the comments. I went through yesterday and try to reply to a bunch. I'll go through again today and try to reply to a bunch. I'll definitely keep, my goal right now is once I reply to a bunch, I'm going to try every day to reply to the newest video that came out. All right, there we go. We're going to go back down to base. Cover it like this. And if we can get this win, no matter what, win or lose on this one, we call it quits for this session here. We're at 16 minutes, which is right in that 15-minute time box, right? Yeah. All right, so we're going to do that. And I want to remind everybody that I'm getting closer. I spoke about it yesterday. We are going to have, there we go, boom. You know what? I'll talk about that. Remember the member shadow account where I'll draw one person's name and you'll get the shadow. And after we do, you get to your roulette black belt, I'll turn that account over to you and that's yours. And you get to keep the profits. And if the profits aren't enough, because I'm going to take my base money back out. If the profits aren't where I want it to be, I'll help you out. We'll boost that up a little bit. You get that account. Once you wager on it for a while and I feel like you're legitimately playing on it, I will turn over the keys to the kingdom. I'll remove 2-factor authenticator and you can go in there, change the password, put your own, and it is your account. You get the email account with it as well. All right, I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so and we'll hit our next session. Cheers. All right, fools, we are back. Let's just pick up where we left off. 36 there, put one there. So left the first session, $22. Hey, that's great, right? Because let's go back and revisit. We are looking at, if we were just the nice to have target is $41.85, $42. So we're at $22. We could wrap this up in this. If this second session goes great, it goes well for us, we could wrap it up and be at our nice to have target. And what I'm going to do is I'm still going to play a third session. Oh, that was sort of the death of me yesterday, right? Even when we were up nicely. I'm going to come back and, no, I had it right. I'm going to come back. I'll lower my bets. Okay. I'm going to lower my bets even further than I did last time. And we'll just either play this or maybe we had a lot of success yesterday, right? Playing Marty plus red or black, follow the winner. So who knows? Maybe we'll go back to something like that and play for a little bit and just build and build and build and build. But so we lost 175. In my mind, here's my checklist for being okay with it. One, we have a relative to where we started at $100, we're still over we're at $800. We're 8x our original bankroll. So I'm not bothered about that 800 because for me, even if I still have, oh, of course you did. Even if we have $300 left, let me get this bet in here first and move this one over here. Even if I have $300 left, I feel like that's a really, really healthy bankroll for what we're doing that I can rebound. Now, I don't want to go down that far, but that loss yesterday being, and we had talked about when you have bigger bankrolls, how much easier things are. This is one of those examples of when a bigger bankroll is easier, right? Because when we're at $100 bankroll and we have a decent loss, we don't have a lot, right? Everything is so touchy. But now that our bankroll's getting bigger, we have a little bit of flexibility, right? Especially if you're limiting the amount that you're playing, especially if we talked about conservative being 20% or less. Okay, I thought there was a repeater. Look at some repeaters going on in there. Okay, 25. Let me get these bets down. So So I'm still comfortable. So that's why I'm not going to make any change. Could I go back here and really grind and go slow and be conservative? I sure could. And I recommend that if you're really uncomfortable with your loss, and there's nothing wrong with that, of betting real low, getting some wins under your belt, some sessions under your belt. You don't have to, it's not all in one or the other either. Okay. You don't have to be extreme. So, okay, we recovered nicely. And we're back to this end. You can modulate your bets. Like one of the comments yesterday where he said, our Australian friend said, our mate said he flat bets out. And then after gets some success with the flat betting, he may modulate his bet and bet higher. I really like that approach. And if I'm betting bigger, like this, if I were to wanted to get back a little bit more and still be somewhat conservative, you could do the exact same thing. We could go down to 50-cent units, bet, and then jump up to a $2 unit and go down to 10-cent unit, whatever that unit is for you that you decide. But I feel really comfortable with this 30% bankroll that we have here and the units that we're using. I'm okay with this. And I think that, man, if in 2 sessions we can get, come on, dude, man, oh man. All right. 1, 2, add one there, add one there. We got to move this. All right. He sure, look at that, 30s, 28s and 30s, and then really low numbers. He's really liking the peripherals there. So yeah, I'm okay with that, but you need to find your sweet spot. I can't, no one can tell that. No, come on, you rat. God, this guy. Of course, I don't like him, right? I mean, I'm only doubling up on this one. I'm just kidding. Because if I double up on this one, I lose. See my balance? I have $182. It's a $60 bet. What's 3 times 60? It's 80. I have an opportunity if I want to go all in and get it back in 2 hits if I want to. Whether or not I'll do that or not, there we go. There's a win. And I'm just going to repeat the bet. And this one, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to add 1 more unit to each of these, which is a $2 bet. So we're at a $70 bet. I don't think I'd 3X anyway. I think what I would do is, especially now, look at our graph. We're just above water level. All right. We don't need that. Slow connection. Yes, there we go. There's a nice hit. So we don't need that. We don't need to get all the way back up to 32 right now. So I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to double. I'm going to go to a $40 bet from a $70 bet. I'm just going to modulate just like we did last time. This gives me more options if we get unlucky and get tagged a couple times in a row. I still want to have that option at the very end because it's very likely, just like I said, it's as you see, not as I said, it's not impossible to get several. Whew, dang. All right, we're going all the way back down. I actually thought he was going to hit that 0, man. Man, I don't even remember what I was thinking. I have like 5 thoughts. I'm thinking ahead 5 thoughts. I'm like, oh, don't forget to tell him this. And now I'm forgetting everything. And then it's just word salad now. Blah, blah, blah. So, no, come on, dude. What is with this guy? Get the fug out of here, man. And this is not a Le Partage table. So we are not getting the advantage of half back. And I did that on purpose. I was actually looking at the French Evo table and it just something wasn't looking great. So I don't know. I opted to come here instead. I traded half back on a 0 in exchange for having faster rolls. Okay, there we go. Phew. All right. And I am just going to double on this one, which would break us even. If I kept it at triple, it would put us 1 base unit up ahead. I'm okay. Let's keep it down at a $20 bet instead of going up another 10 to 30 bucks. Let's break even, bring it back down to our base progression. And what I remember I was saying, I'm okay on this of planning to where you have that last that last stand on your bankroll so you know where you're at. What did it just hit? One. Because while it's not unusual to get whacked 1, 2, 3 times in a row, it's also because we have high coverage, and this is why I like this particular high coverage system with 30 numbers. It's also very, very possible that you're going to go 5-0 or even higher, right? So when you have that last stand and you look at your bankroll and you make it so that it's so that you have either a double up left, make sure you have a double up or a triple up. I'm willing to go in on that risk that I could spin a couple times, and with 30 numbers covered, that's usually a pretty good risk I'm willing to take. Now, if we keep getting whacked and it's kind of a rough session, you at that point just pull the plug maybe and just back off, come back to the wheel, maybe an hour later, go to a different wheel. What I found, and this is really weird, and it's superstitious, of course, is that when I'm having a bad session on one wheel, it almost feels like it doesn't matter which wheel I go to. I'm just getting whacked. And I have rinsed my bankroll doing that. Oh, I got whacked here. I chase it a little bit, get whacked. Oh, you know what? It's the table and the dealer. I go to another table, and guess what? Whack, whack, whack. Okay. Come on, man. We're up at $34. This is really good. We're into this thing for 9 minutes now. Booyah. We're on a nice little run. And this is what I'm talking about. We're on a nice little run to recovery. We didn't have to go completely balls to the wall. And we're in session profit. Our previous session high was 32. We're at 34 and we're well within our minutes. I was actually very, very close today to shortening my time box from 15 minutes to 10 minutes, right? So there's a couple ways you can go about this if you want to be a little bit more conservative, but still not really be conservative. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, I want to be a little less, but I kind of want to stay status quo of where I was before. Let me get this bet in. So what I was thinking I was going to do is, okay, A, reduce my bets a little bit. And B, I can either reduce my the playable balance that I'm willing to risk if I want to set a tighter limit, or I'm just going to set my time box to 10 minutes. Now, could I get whacked 3-4 times in 10 minutes? Absolutely. No, there's a whack. All right, that's one. All right, here we go. We're going to double. All right, we got it in there. Let's see if we can get 2 hits here. But shortening the time box, right? Because let's say I shorten it all the way down to 5 minutes. I mean, I'm playing real spurts. That means I'm only have time for a couple spins and then I walk. A couple spins, I walk, and just break it up more like that. All right, there we go. There's one hit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rebet this. I'm going to rebet this, move this chip all the way to this end, move this one there, and we're done. Oh, shit. No, this needs to stay down here. I almost bugged it up. All right, here we go. Let's get this hit. Almost screwed it up. In my head, I was thinking French table, which that would be the high position down there. There we go. Good thing I didn't screw it up because that would have been a loss, right? 1, 2, 3, and we cover this first dozen. Let's just put 2 units on the first dozen. This is a really popular way of playing 5 double streets at the casino, especially if you're like down on this end or far down on this end, because you can put 3 units on high and you can put 2 units on the first dozen, which is the same 5 double streets as leaving 13 through 18 open. But I can put my 3 units here pretty easily, and nice. And I can give either someone on the table, the chips and say, here's 2 chips. Hey, could you put this on the first dozen? Or give them to the dealer and just say, first dozen, please. So it's super easy. And once you play, if you decide you want to stick leaving, say, 13, 18 open, the dealer starts knowing. You don't have to play very many rounds. Even if you're rotating them around down here, they'll pretty soon start knowing you're playing line bets or, double streets. And so you can just start calling out. I recommend you call out like 1-4, because I saw when I was in Vegas last time, what did that hit? 28. All right. In Vegas, this last trip, a guy was at the end, or maybe it was a gal, and she threw the chips to the dealer and said something like, the one double street or the 4 double street. Well, first of all, the 4 double street, that could be 4-7 or 1-4, right? She thought when she just said, like, I think she just ended up putting it either on the straight up number or on the split or something. So make darn sure that your dealer knows you want to put it on a double street and what the double streets are. So that because it landed, it won, but that person didn't win because it wasn't the right bet. I think actually they did call out the 2, but they didn't say double street. I think they said something like the 1-4 or 4-7. And that normally, if I'm a dealer too, thinks that that's a split bet. Put it between the 4 and 7. The 4-7 line bet or the 4-7 double street. And then watch them bet. That was this person on the end's mistake. I mean, I would watch them bet. Okay. Let's where are we at with time here? We're at 13 minutes. All right. We are at $46, which means we're already at our 5%. So what I'm going to do is we're going to win this one. And when we're going to win this one, we're going to call this session quits because we'll be just under 15 minutes. And we're going to come back and I'm going to think ahead of time. Oh, of course not. Last spin curse. Thanks, pal. Uh-huh. All right. Of course. Couldn't just let us walk. It can never be that easy. But once we recover here, we're going to come back and I'm going to substantially lower my bets. And I don't know if I'll play 5 double streets or maybe we might play control chaos or we might do something like that. And in this case, for the third session, I'm going to lower my unit size because I'm hoping to build on, but I'm going to give myself a threshold of this profit that I don't want to go below. Okay. So I want to walk away because we're already there. I want to walk away with that profit and not get reset all the way. So let's get this over here. There we go. So I will look at this off camera and I'll decide, okay, how much of this $40, let's just say $40 right now. It'll be more. Hopefully it's 46. How much of this 46 am I willing to rinse, to lose? And then I'm going to set that level and then I'm going to look at this mofo. Are you serious, dude? I'm only going to double up here. I'm only going to double up. And yeah, we'll see. Anyway, yeah, get the dealer walk off spin. Okay. So when we recover, we're going to come back and I'm going to lower my bets and I'm going to kind of decide where on the profit line. Whew. I thought he was going to nail us on a 3. Wow. 26. So I'm going to go ahead and play instead of sitting out on this dealer, but I'm going to go down to base bet for a couple spins. Let's see how she does. And then honestly, I'm going to sit here and decide if I want to do like 1 or 2 decent sized bets, maybe 3x or 4x it for 2 hits, or I just want to walk being up, where we're at. We'll be up at $20 up. But I told you famous last words, right? We're here to gamble. We're here to gamble. So let's see how we do. All right, I'm going to give her one more spin here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase my bet size, and we'll see what that puts us at. And maybe what I'll do is I'll increase my bet size to $20, so $4 units. And if I lose one, I can't chase, and I got to come back from a third session, just start all over again and see if we can get somewhere around 20, 25 bucks and call it a day. So, I mean, I'm just playing it the way I would play it. You could have played it way safer up here. When you hit your 5%, call it quits. That's always a good option. We always talk about, you barely almost start catching up. We did go ahead and then, all right, I'm going to get a couple more spins. Let's go this last one. If this looks decent, I think we may double. We may go to an $8 unit and win once and call it quits. At the $8 unit, we'll call this session quits. And then I'll decide if I want to come back. Oh, good. That ball's got some funky English on it. Look at her. She's just wrapping that same double street. All right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go ahead and do a $40 bet here. We're 24 up. So this would lose $16. We would be at $16 in deficit. And my exit strategy is if I lose this bet, I'm not going to chase. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go to $2 bets. And at that point, I'm going to play for the 15 minutes. And where that lands us, that lands us. I'm not really even going to be thinking about this graph anymore, even though it's in front of me. There we go. Booyah. All right. We're at $32. I'm plenty happy with that. We're going to come back for the third session. I will now probably play a little bit normal like we're doing right here. And once we get up a little bit more, I will then kick it down to low gear if we're lucky enough to get that far. All right, I'll be back in a few. Cheers. Okay, team, we're back for one last session. What I'm going to do is initially when I left here, I was at the end of the last session, I was going to go, okay, let's play a little bit more like we are and keep it norm. And I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm plenty happy with $32. We're going to go all the way down to the lowest unit of 50 cents. We're going to play a little bit more here. I'm going to play a couple rounds of this, and then I'm probably going to move into a pseudo musical strats. What's musical strats? I'm glad you asked that, Stacy. Musical strats, I start with higher coverage and I go to lower coverage and I play for one hit, one profit level, regardless of how it is. And then I move on to the next one. So we're going to just kind of jump around a little bit. Although overall, I'm really happy how the 5 double streets behaved overall. If we had been more aggressive on that last dip right here, I mean, we could have, right? I could have kept my bet high and we had a good run there. So we would have, in that case, we would have been up in session profit somewhere. But we talked about that. You can't think like that, the opportunity cost. I would rather have an missed opportunity cost than have a deficit that takes me way down here, right? Not always. Sometimes I may opt to go in, but today we're kind of in rebuilding. I am going to play it a little closer to the vest and control that crazy inside of me that says, let's go. Because man, I look at that $280 balance and go, $50 double streets. That's a $250 bet. One hit. We're up $50. We're suddenly at $83. Trust me, that's how my mind thinks sometimes. And you know what? I don't hate it when your bankroll gets bigger and you want to start, looking at it like that. I don't hate that idea. When I made those big bets, or other times I've told you, I said, I would rather make one big bet if I know I'm going to go to a certain amount, right? If I'm just shooting for profit and I'm being reckless, I would much rather make one big bet, clench that one time, be done with it, than make a whole bunch of medium-sized bets that are still decently large, but then you got to like hold your breath 4 times or something, Let's hold our breath once. Man, look at that. 16, 16, 17. Nothing sweeter than a repeater double street. So I could totally see it. Now, I could totally see me doing that if we didn't have what happened yesterday, right? If I didn't fall back down below $1,000. I'm not going to do that now. But I could totally see in a future episode, watch out for it, where I decide, you know what? Especially, I would like to stay around $250 and lower. So as our bankroll gets bigger again, oh, there's a whack. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and we're covering this one. And I'm going to double. I'm going to go ahead and double on this one. And this is as crazy as I'm getting today, but I want to get above the $1,000 mark again and then increase. So if you do have some drops, what I like to say is let's pretend this graph is actually our bankroll, right? Every time you falter and you have a pretty bad session, just grind it until at least you're above that. And then you falter again and make sure you're above that, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I've done with my bankroll. And what I told the team every time I've bet big and gone down, I go, but that means the next time on my next run, I got to go higher than that. And I've done that. I got to go higher than that. So now I got to go higher than almost I was just this shy of 500K on my bankroll. So I've got to get myself higher than the 500K this next run. Oh, come on, dude. Good thing I did base bet. All right. Double. And we're going to leave it here. We're going to leave it here for 2 hits. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I'd like to get above the $1,000 mark and keep going there. If you have trouble staying above, you know, sometimes you get these ceilings that you just feel like you just can't push beyond. A couple ways. Go really low and slow and, you know, get plenty of progressions and grind it out. All right, there we go. Or, all right, let's repeat this bet. And this one needs to get off of here and go down here. Or you can opt to do a couple bigger bets to break that glass ceiling and then keep going up. I mean, they both have their pros and cons, right? But I've had that at times where my bankroll just seems to be stuck at one level. And I'm like, what is happening? And sometimes I look at it and go, it's because I'm playing too conservative. No, okay, phew. I thought I was gonna hit that 24. I'm like, come on, for Pete's sake. All right. 3, 1, 2. So sometimes you just, like I told you, oh, my mom's here. Mom, come say hi. Bring Mika over here. My mom's here and she brought her cat. Come say hi to everybody. Come on in the screen till you can see yourself right there. Keep coming in till you can see yourself right there. If they can't see you.
Oh, here we go.
Keep coming down.
Barely.
So this is my mom. This is her cat, Mika, and Soybean is laying right here. So there's a little bit of anxiety going on. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay, excuse me, Mom. I got to finish recording. You got to be kidding me. Okay. All right. Double, double, double. Did I get this right? I did 8, 12. Yeah. Okay. So we're at $20 bet again. So here's the deal with my mom. She really wants to feel useful. So lately she keeps bugging me. When can I come over and just help you around the house? So, there we go. All right. All right. Nice little hit there. And we're going to repeat this bet. No, we can't. 1, 2, 3, 1 unit here, 1 unit here. And we're going to double again. We're going to do another $20 bet. So she wants to feel helpful, you know? So she comes over and then she'll usually go to, my kitchen's actually really clean, but she'll go and she'll start putting things away. My mom has Alzheimer's, for those of you guys that don't know. And it's always an adventure afterwards finding out where things are. The spatula is over in another drawer. Okay, you know what? We got it back. What did I hit? 13? All right, we got it back. This is nice. We can go down to 50-cent unit bets here. Now I'm going to start playing musical strats. If I win one, this is 30 number coverage. From there, we're going to go to do a hit a gladiator, and the bets might be really small. Now, here's something that kind of sucks. If you are on a table, let's say a provider, and it has a 10-cent min bet, right? Oh, come on, man. So this is sort of the ceiling. We're like, okay, we got to bust through because this dealer, I just feel like she'd be holding us back, man. All right, we're going to bust through. We're just going to go for it. We're going to bust through and see if we get through this ceiling. Anyway, where's the spatula? Where's the knife? Where's this? Where's that? And so it's sort of like an Easter egg hunt. So it's kind of fun. But she has a good time putzing around up there. And her cat likes getting out of the house and coming over here. So it's a win-win for everybody. Yes, there we go. All right, that puts us at 44.50. We are going to go to, let's get out of this and do a gladiator. That's a $3 bet on gladiator. Let's hit a couple of these. So this is a 29 number system. We did a 30 number system higher. Remember, I do mine higher to lower, but you don't have to. You can do any strat you want. If you want to play musical, you could go from low bets rejected. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You see this bets rejected? Because this is a 50-cent min table, there's some 10-cent and 20-cent units in here. And even though the total, that would have been a loss anyway, the total is higher than the table. It's not like at a live casino where the cumulative of all your inside bets has to be higher than this one. Every single bet has to be higher than the table minimum. So give me a moment here. I'm going to pause and I'm going to jump over to another table. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. We are now at the Prague Speed Auto Roulette table. And we left off with Gladiator, but I'm going to start with 5 double streets again. 10-cent bet here. That was on the 9. We're going to cover the 9. Go here. That's a 50-cent bet. I'm going to go ahead and make it $1. So it's 20-cent units. At this point, it's icing on the cake, right? We're up at 44.50. Our high was 46. So we climbed back out. We're almost at session high, and we're over our daily, which again, our daily was supposed to be the nice to have, 42 bucks. So we're above our daily. And this is a good reason right here. Now we don't have to sweat this stuff right here, right? And we can be a little bit more aggressive than we could if we were betting bigger. So I'm going to double, and it takes us to a $4 bet. So last thing we want to do now, and we already almost, a couple times we slid, although I'm looking at the recovery, and this gives you a little faith going, overall, if we had bet bigger, we would have been successful. Not to say always, because you saw yesterday what happened when I lost 175 and we got 2 zeros in a row and then 2 whacks in a row. Is crazy. All right. Okay. That's a win. And I can just rebet that one and take this one and move it over here. And this is a 4x bet. So 2 of these together, that's 8x. We're going to be three base unit profit ahead if we're able to get this win. So again, that's kind of the nice thing is if you bring your bets way down relative to what you were doing in your bankroll, your playable balance. No. You mother. Okay. Let's see, 30, 50, yep. All right, we're going to go up to $8 here. So that is, I'm being really aggressive with this, and we're still only at $8 bet, so I feel okay with this. But man, this table, gosh, this is why I left it the other day, right? It just kept freaking finding the holes. All right, let's go. So we struggled to get off the base here. All right, there we go. 25 to there, and we'll do one more here at $8. And then after we hit $8, we'll start going down the chain. So we're at 30 numbers. If we get a win here, then I'll go down to 29 numbers, which will be a gladiator bet. If we get 29, I'm going to jump all the way to 27. I'm not a big fan of V28 for whatever reason. There we go. No. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I really hate this table sometimes. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go all the way $32 bet. This is our profit level right here. So if I lose this one, I'm stopping. I'm stopping the session. I'll do a 4th session and I'll come back with, and I'll basically do one last session starting all over again, but I'll take a nice 15-minute break and come back, and we're not going to come back to this table. We'll probably go to a French table for the last one because I'll go back. Wow. Unbelievable. Look at that table. Just found us each time. Bad luck there. All right. We're going to stop right here. We're above water level, $1.90. So we're not sweating it. The only thing we lost was some time. I'm going to put together formulate my plan. And when I come back, I'll execute the plan and I'll have my exit strategy. I'll have everything dialed in. I'll give me time to think about it. And then when I come back, I know exactly what I'm going to do rather than right here emotionally go all in for $50, or whatever it was, which if we had played the same way, we would have got whacked again. We would have covered the 25, 28, and it's ping-ponging back between those. So it's a good thing to take a break and go think about it. I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Cheers. Okay, fools, we are back. Sun was coming in really bad on the blind, so I'm gonna just get started. And we are going to go back to 5 double streets real quick. So what I decided is, and to me, this is sometimes what I was talking about. Sometimes if you're too conservative, you can kind of flounder. Now we were at good stopping spots twice, but I need this video to be at least 45 minutes, to be honest with you. So that's why we're going to keep playing. But you could certainly quit at any of these 2 points, even back here at what was this at? 28 bucks, 30 bucks, $32. You could have stopped anywhere along there and really gone down. So we are on French Roulette Gold, the Evo table. And I'm going to play a couple bets. And then what I decided, so before I get into exactly what I'm going to do here, remember I talked about a while back, if you're trying to get in the habit of doing something, whatever that may be, that if you add a trigger to it, it it's easier to get into that rhythm. So by example, if you said you wanted to start drinking more water, you add a trigger every time you use the bathroom, or every time you go get a snack, or every time you do something actual tangible, that you have to drink a glass of water. And pretty soon you'll associate the two together and you'll do it. So what I've decided is, and I got to figure out exact how I'm going to do this, but if I lose one time, if I lose a spin, then I've got to do 10 push-ups. No problem, right? 10 push-ups. Who cares? Let me get this bet in. I just want to make sure I'm doing everything right, because now I'm on the French table. So I just want to make sure I pay attention, because this is no longer the first dozen. Or excuse me, this is no longer the first dozen, and this is no longer low. This is high. This is 19 through 36. Up here, monk, that is low, 1 through 18. So sometimes when you jump between these tables, you got to remember. So what I'm going to do is, if I lose once, 10 push-ups, no big deal, because every strategy you're going to lose once. There's no real decision-making in there to slow down, right? If I lose a second time before recovery, now these are all within a recovery session. All right. We're going to repeat the bet. If I lose a second time before recovery, that 10 push-ups is now 100 push-ups. And if I lose a third time before recovery, that 100 push-ups is now 300 push-ups. I'm kind of thinking it through in my head, but the idea is that it really goes, if you're going to stick to it and you got to be disciplined and follow through with what the punishment is, it really makes me stop and go, okay, I'm at 10 plus 110 plus 300. I'm at 410 push-ups today. And if I play all on my own, look at him hitting that. Let me hit him. This dude sort of reminds me of Cillian Murphy, Peaky Blinders, dude. Anyway, so I'm going to start adding a trigger to my losses to make me go, okay. And when I'm on my own, I'm going to force, when I'm playing off screen, meaning I'm going to force myself to have to do those push-ups before I can place the next progression bet. So I lose once, I got to do 10, then I can come back and bet. I got to do 100, I can come back, then I'll do the third progression bet, right? So that's also going to force me to kind of just slow down and have a little bit of time to think about it, let the wheel clear, let my brain clear. So I'm going to start adding those kind of triggers to my spins here. Wow. Look at this. Booyah. Man, he's tearing it up. All right. So as long as he's hitting there, I'm just going to kind of stay low and slow right now. And my decision was, I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I am going to go back to, I'm going to go back to $5 units. That gives me only 3 progressions. And I'm going to see if I can make a little bit of run. That's what I'm going to do. So again, I'm comfortable with my bankroll where it's at. And like I said, my threshold in my head is I don't want to go below $300. Now, I don't want to go below anything, but I don't want to go below $300. Wow. Again, holy Toledo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on this double streak. Woo. Good thing we're playing Deja Vu, follow the winner on that last hit. Oof. This is the danger of like the strategies where you wait for a second dozen, 2 dozens, you wait for 1 dozen to hit twice or 3 times and you go in. You can, but the reality is you can run into negative streaks. Look at what we did. We got wiped out here on a couple back-to-back, I don't know, 3, 4 hits in a row. So it can happen on anything, but all right. Finally he gets off of there. Let's see what he's going to do now. Let's see how strong, if he's going to come back. How strong is the force in this one? And is he a little whiner like Anakin Skywalker, who whines through those first couple of movies? He's lucky he had the force. If he was my kid, I would have smacked him. Spanking time. Keep whining like that, Anakin, and I'm going to rip the force right out of you. All right, let's go. God, those early Star Wars movies, between the Luke Skywalker as he grew up and the young Skywalker and Jar Jar Binks, they ruined that, man. All right, here we go. That's a 6. We're going to go high. We're going to cover the 6. And we're going to cover that one. We're going to leave within the same dozen. We're going to leave that open. And dang, I left my water upstairs when I was taking a break. All right. Let's get some back here. And the water's feeling pretty good. So I'm going to jump back in here shortly. And let's see if we can get a little bit back. Although I'm really happy with our profit. We've been going for 7 minutes and we're at almost at $6. So I think we will switch over though. Let's see how he does here. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to go ahead and go up to $5 units. What was that? 22. All right, there we go. It would be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The best thing ever. If they would just keep hitting this over and over. All right, let's go. Do what you did last time. We would really appreciate those wins. Come on, Cillian. Make my bankroll great again. All right. Okay. We'll take that. We will take that. All right, now we're going to put 3 units down here, cover the 12 and the double street that it's attached to, and we have our 1-6. I never like leaving 1-6 open. I mean, 1-6, that area has been the death of me on so many big bets. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Absolutely devastating. And I remember one of them, though, I got whacked. So I decided I'm going to take a break and come back. And I left 19 through 24 open. I'm like, I'm going to show them. Freaking hits a 19 through 24 number. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? No! Are you kidding me? Wow. You jerk. As soon as we go up in bets. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble here. I'm going to go ahead. And that's what I said on my off time. I was like, what do I want to do with this? And I'm like, I'm willing to go big once. And I consider this big. So I'm willing to throw that out there. I still feel very comfortable. You may not. I'm not encouraging you to bet like this. You have more time. I really want to wrap this up here and get the video edited and get it out the door. And I hate to sound rushed like that, but I would have, we were betting 50-cent units. We were humming right along. I would have finished that 15-minute session. I would plan 3-4 more of those sessions and call it a day. All right, there we go. So let's go 1, 2, 3 and bet here and bet on the 32. All right, and I'm going to double again. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit and go. And if he whacks us, so be it. We call it quits. I don't get anything beyond one big hit loss. That's it. Nothing beyond that. So we're going to hope it hits for us. All right. They changed our view. We'll just leave it in that blue view. Get rid of the display capture up top. Okay. Now we're cooking with oil. Now let's go back down to base bet. That was more than enough risking it. High, we're going back down to a $25 unit. So let me know in the comments if you really don't like this view. Like I said, I got a couple DMs that said they really, because they couldn't see the wheel, they want to see the ball bouncing. All fair. Let me know if you really care, because honestly, I think if I were watching, I'd actually want to see more about where the chips are and what the layout is and stuff. But I get it. So I'm going to leave it there because it keeps saying that my connection is slow. Maybe my VPN or something needs to be changed up to a different city, which it's periodically you need to do that. I'm not going to do it right now, but let's see what happens. Now this is good because I don't have to see the wheel and see just how close we are to losing, right? All right. 1, 2, 3. That covers there. And we're going to cover over here. We can cover 2 units here. Remember on this French table, these are your dozen bets over here. These are your column bets over here. I mentioned how much I hate that? I absolutely hate that. All right. Let's go. I mean, even now, I'm looking at it now and I'm like going, you know what? This profit is looking pretty tantalizing right now. So I don't think I'm going to push it. We're into this thing 11 minutes. I don't think I'm going to push it past this bet right here. And of course, yes, baby. There we go. So I'm going to go down to base bet and I don't want to pause the video again, but honestly, what I would probably do at this point is I would get off of the evolution tables where 50 cents the minimum. I'd probably go over to Prague and play on 10-cent min bet tables. I am heartbroken that the instant tables have not been working well at all. They've been slow and laggy. I mean, I think this is probably a VPN issue, but I know some of you guys wrote in the comments the other day that you felt it was all rigged, that the instant tables are 100% rigged. I mean, I don't agree with that, but everybody has their bias, right? Everybody has their bias. And overall, I've done worse on some of these live spin tables than I've ever done on the instant roulette table. And I have bet some nice big bets on the instant table. So it's not like, oh, we're seeing that the most you've ever bet was $2,500, which to me is a big bet. But I've bet 5,000. I've bet a $10,000 bet over there. I haven't done anything more than 10,000, but that's a big freaking bet. And if they're going to be, I watch the winnings, right? That's how you can tell. You look at the winners, and if there's a bunch of small bets, which most of the time on that table it is, if there's a time for them to rig it, it would have been when I'm placing those bets. I mean, who else are they going to, take money from? There's a loss. All right, jerky. Good thing we brought it down, right? I mean, we didn't lose much. I'm going to double here. And if we lose this, I'm going to go to a $5 unit bet and see if I can get to. This is driving me bananas with this lag going on up here. I don't mind not seeing the table of when it spins, but I just want to know that it's going and when it stops, when it's blurry, it's sort of like the jury is out. How long is it going to take the jury to be out? Is that good news? Is that bad news? All right, there we go. There's one. And here we go. And I'm going to double this one as well. $10 bet. Let's see if we can get this hit. And we're coming on the 15 minutes, so that's good. So I'm going to stay at this 50-cent unit. Let's see if we can get a good hit here. If we can't, we're just going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up with $26. I mean, there's a lot of hard fighting going on here, right? This is trench warfare. So I'm going to just be glad that not only are we above sea level, but we're decently above sea level. This is actually good amount of profit for the day. And it beats what happened yesterday. So it's okay to lose as long as you won the big ones. And today we won the big ones. Okay, look at that. So our high there before was 36.90. We're at 38.40. I mean, that's getting really close to this. So let's go back down to base bet, $29. All right, here we go. So we're going down to base bet, 50 cents. And I feel really comfortable with this base bet. And I mean, I've been really aggressive with it, right? Because I was doing 4X on recovery, which means 2 4X bets. That's not just taking me 1 base unit profit ahead, right? That's taking me 3 base unit profit ahead. That's why if you look at this graph carefully, you can see why we surpassed our base previous session high so well, because I 4X'd it twice. And that's the nice thing. If I was at 10X, if I was at 10-cent bets right now, I'd probably be tempted to go 5X. Because we're talking about a 50-cent bet to a $2 50-cent bet, another 5X, you're getting a 1-hit recovery. And so that's another advantage of betting really low, or even going down to 5-cent bets or 2-cent bets. You can get really aggressive with it, do 6, 7X and get that 1-hit recovery. And if you don't, your bet amount's so low that it's not an issue for your overall session profit. All right. We are at almost 15 minutes here. So we are going to get this and call it a day. Call it a wrap. Good recovery back. I mean, we got down here. Oof. We got below sea level once, 1360 there. There it is. But overall, relatively, I think we had some difficulties, but overall, I think we did okay. And again, it's because I feel like sometimes I'm stopping short from going ahead and playing, but that's also a safer way to do it. Safer, not safe, right? So we're just going to leave it as. All right, 39.40, a nice little recovery, not easy, but we're back up there. And we just got to keep having a couple more sessions. I'm not worried about the loss yesterday. And we'll look at our bankroll, and before we know it, we'll be above $1,000 again. And then we're going to look to really stay above $1,000 and get up to maybe $1,200, right? We want to get up. If we lose some ground, we're going to take more ground back the next time we storm the castle. All right, that's it, guys. Be good humans. Let me know how you're doing there in the comments, where you're at in your challenge. And I always like hearing what you're playing. What is your secret sauce that you're doing so well with? All right, cheers, guys. I'll see you next time.